All right. So last night I dropped a video regarding what transpired yesterday in the everyone group chat for the nutballers, and it was just so unexpected that even Russ was so concerned that he even thought he even said, "Just knock it off, guys." He was talking about Dewey and the boss as far as what a boss said, and it just really astonished me to see what a boss had told Dewey, and I had no idea what it was until Dewey told me on the phone regarding that he was asking a boss for a favor as far as money situation, his money situation, Dewey's money situation, of course. But ultimately, that's how it happened, and I don't know why a boss would say those things to him, and it makes me wonder. Wait a minute, did I fire up this guy like all day? Because I know he had to work. And I know what he said to Carlos earlier after Carlos called me out on my rants earlier the morning of yesterday, right? But I mean, it makes me wonder if that was just what I did to make a boss say all these things. And look, you know, when Dewey and I talked on the phone last night, um, yes, I do agree with him that it's not directly my fault for for what a boss had said to him. Um, from what he told me, that was between him and between him and a boss about regards to Dewey asking for the money thing. The money to help him out in the money situation. That is. But here's the thing. Although it's not directly my fault in that particular matter, how it got here, how I made a boss perceive guys like, you know, let's just say just some guys like a boss, like perceive other guys like Dewey and Carlos to be, you know, just the ones who enabled this kind this kind of behavior that I had. You know what I'm saying? Especially Dewey. Now, why a boss said, what he said to Dewey yesterday, um, I kind of look at it like this. I know, I'm now very well aware that a boss knows what I had said last year and even the year before. As far as what I've said in lashing out at guys like Russ and Dewey. Saying things that I later on don't mean, and obviously, it rubbed some people like a boss the wrong way about them, and so, you know, I don't know why he would think. And look, I just had I just had reconnected with Dewey and Russ just like it's already gonna be like exactly a weekend ago, right? And we're cool and all that. You know, it's just I don't know how a boss came about. Just talking to Dewey like that. And look, I'm I'm um, I'm also guilty of this because I lashed out at Dewey like that, especially in the group text incident where I said to Dewey, "Hey, you're a money grabber, this and that." Obviously, I didn't mean any of what I said, but having constantly said a lot of those things, having constantly lashed out at those guys in particular, I'm talking about Russ and Dewey. This is where I'm at fault. Like, if from based on what transpired last year, on my behavior and how I, as a leader, have showed that I failed because of the constant negative energy that I brought to the group, and even the everyone group, even prior to the group text incident, even prior to what I did earlier in January. Sure, I know these guys have forgiven me, but look at guys like a boss. They're being rubbed the wrong way, and if for people like him to accuse some guys like Carlos and Dewey that that they did me wrong, it's not their fault. That's my fault from the aspect from the standpoint of what transpired of what I did last year and the year before that. What I said, especially when I lashed out at Russ and Dewey like constantly, especially when I was in my dump. I always said, you know, it was my dump's fault. It's my dump's fault. It's my dump's fault. It's my dump's fault that made me say all these things. So for me to have lashed at them like that numerous times is where I'm at fault in that I have already rubbed some people the wrong way. I mean, why would a boss bother to even tell Dewey, hey, at least I have a job, or at least Russ and I have a job, or whatever, this and that. You know what, effing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how it came about to that. I mean, Dewey wasn't really talking about me. I mean, he can't, like, I don't know how, like, I don't know what's going on at this point, and you know, and especially between Boston and Carlos, and I don't know what's going on there. So, look, I don't want to think that this Nutballers group, is already has some tension, but I almost kind of feel like it has some tension based on what happened yesterday. And look, although I'm not at fault for directly of the situation of what a boss told Dewey, as Dewey told me, I'm at fault from the standpoint of what transpired last year and the year before that, of a lot of more so last year, a lot of the things that I said, and a lot of the trash talk and the unnecessary, the unhealthy vibes that I spread in that group, and having no business to just even lash out at Dewey and Russ like that. Especially with Dewey about, hey, get a job, this and that. You know how many times I told him that? I told him that for like the last 3 years. Every time I felt like crap in my dump. So look, the onus is on me. It's on me from the standpoint of how my behavior translated, the last 3 years. Last year, 2023, even 2022. So this was a long-term effect in that I have come to show as a Nutballers leader that I failed. I failed as a leader because of a lot of the stuff that I said last year and the year before that and the year before that. And especially how I just lashed out at guys like Russ and Dewey, and even, the group itself. And look, I had pissed off guys like Robbie, saying what he said to me, when the topic about the politics had come up, and obviously, the group text incident, and it's just, it has rubbed some people the wrong way. Unfortunately, it has rubbed guys like a boss the wrong way, and I own up to it. Look, as the leader, I'm responsible for how I operate the vibes in that group. So there's no denying that I'm at fault from the standpoint that when I caused this tension long term based on what I said last year and the year, the last few years. I had pretty much shown progression of failing as a Nutballers leader because of the constant negative energy that I spread. I don't care what anyone thinks. This is how it came about, and I gotta do something to fix it. I gotta talk to a boss. I gotta talk to Carlos. And fortunately, Dewey has no beef with the boss. He was just shocked and just a little upset and annoyed with why a boss was like that. So I believe Dewey there. I've known him for a long time, and he got no beef with no one. A boss, I gotta talk to him, man. That's my right hand man. I don't know why he would say all these things. And as for Carlos, I'm pretty sure he'll still be okay with for everyone. I mean, didn't they talk just not that long ago? So, like, Carlos and the boss, when a boss asked Carlos, hey, want to go to a baseball game? Carlos asked how many tickets can you get, this and that. So, I mean, I don't know what it is, man. Like, and that's for me. It looks like I myself better start cutting down because I know the situation I'm in, and like when I felt like I was in a trap that I can't get out of. It's just more of what they see, you know, basically where I left off from last year, you know, after the group text incident. Now look, I said what I said. I'm gonna say it again. I rushed myself back too soon, and I had thoughts of whether or not I should do the same thing again. I know I can't do it, but you know, it has come to this point that you know I gotta live with what I gotta live with, even if I'm in this trap until you know things just start to miraculously change, and that hey, maybe I might finally find that path that was missing, and I can probably hop over the gap and jump on that road and finally see the light from there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's just crazy that how I'm just seeing things like this happen in the Nutballers group, and you know, I just hope that you know, with so many problems I got to be dealing with right now, I want this to be just the least of it, the least of my problems. Yeah, I'm seeing Neil tomorrow on the last day of June, for the sake of my ongoing historic run, which will now be 40 straight. Woo! Number 40. Wow. And counting. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I did say it like I felt like the vibes have not been the same. And now look what happened yesterday. Yeah, I was active because of what I said. And, you know, if it wasn't for all that negative energy I brought out yesterday, I don't think the chat would have been that active. Too. I mean, like, all the numerous chats that I saw in there between mostly Russ and Dewey. So, I said those guys were going to be the guys to keep the group afloat. For as much as I admire guys like Julio and the boss and Carlos, who have really been actively, you know, in that chat, talking to me and all that. So I gotta do some fixing there. Friendships are the least of my problems, but to see what just happened yesterday, it's like, man, I know these guys for a long time, so I'm not about to just sit up here and not do anything, because I am the leader of that group still to this day. And so now I gotta really show that I can bring it back. I can bring back the normalcy of this group, making sure everyone's good. And as the leader, I gotta be responsible for a lot of things, and I'm responsible for the negative energy that I brought, that rubbed guys like a boss the wrong way. So I'm just saying my prayers that I hope I can work all this out, and I just want this group to be just flowing nicely. I know I haven't done any group hangouts. I've only hung out with guys one-on-one like Julio and Neil. So I just want to work things out. Like I said, I already got so many problems going on. I don't have to even repeat myself what I had to say, because they were in your other videos that I dropped the last few days regarding my outside life. But I want this just to be the least of my problems, and I gotta do everything I can in my power to fix all that, because I don't want and seeing what I'm seeing. I did say, hey, I feel like this group's gonna break apart. Well, guess what? Karma's a real, it's a real bee, isn't it? It's coming back to bite me, and I gotta make sure that I never say these things again, because I just gotta keep learning things the hard way. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I'm not at fault directly for what a boss said to, how a boss responded to Dewey, but I am at fault from the standpoint of, what transpired last year and the year before that, and of the constant negative energy that I brought out. So this is exactly what I get. So, I just feel like the group text incident was really, well, what's the right word? It was really the epitome of how the vibes changed in this group. More so what I did toward the end of January. So again, it just felt like, after that group text incident, you know there's just a sense that the vibes have just not been the same. And look, I make guys like a boss. you know I just rubbed them the wrong way of how they just you know I don't know if a boss was really just trying to defend me at the time, but you know for him to say things like that to Carlos and Dewey, I just don't know if he's looking at them differently now. I don't want to come out saying, for sure that he is, but never tell. That's why I want to talk to him about it. But for the most part, this group, I want it to be the least of my worries, because I got so many problems I got to take care of, like my career as a graphic designer and obviously my home life. But you know, um, for this, like I just don't want these kind of problems to just grow in the group, because now I feel like, it hasn't really escalated yet, but you know, it's just mostly been silence. Just so not too active most times, but we just never know how it's going to turn out. And so, yeah. So I'm very well aware that I know what I got to do. So, you guys let me know what you think, man. Um, as far as everything that I said here, do you guys agree that I'm at fault for from the standpoint of what transpired the last few years, especially the group text incident that I felt changed the vibes of this group, and especially ghosting this entire group and my friend circle toward the end of January. So let me know what you all think, and yep, I just want to work things out. So see you all later.